Hey, what is up YouTube? Kolst here. We are reviewing all of the cards for Murder Castle Nathria. Here is the video for Priest. If you're looking for not Priest, you are in the wrong place. But if you're looking for Priest, you are in the right place. So we have Twitch chat here as well, as you guys may have noticed above us. But let's get right on to the Priest cards. So the first one here is Partner in Crime. 4-mana 2/5 common Priest card. Battle Cry. Summon a copy of this minion at the end of your turn. Help. Yeah, so, I mean, worst case scenario, you're getting 2/2/5s for 4 mana. It is a Battle Cry, it only happens once. I thought for a second it was like an end turn effect, and I was like, wait a second. But, it's only a one-time effect, but as is, like, 2/2/5s for 4 mana is very, very good. But then also, you know, you could potentially combo this with a buff. And there's a location which you could buff this with on curve. So that would give you 2 4/6s for 4 mana on curve. Very, very good. That is just like a win the game combo probably. But yeah, overall just never bad. Sometimes game winning card. So very, very, very strong. Next one is Mysterious Visitor. 2-mana 2/3 epic minion. Battle Cry. Reduce the cost of cards copied from your opponent by 2. So there are some ways to copy cards from your opponent, some of which we're going to talk about very soon, but sometimes this will just be a 2-mana 2/3, but sometimes it'll be a lot better. So probably like a 4-star card. Talking about ways to discover cards from your opponent's deck. This is Identity Theft. 3-mana Shadow Spell. Commons, you'll probably see this a lot. Discover a copy of a card from your opponent's hand and deck. So I imagine you get 2 different discover options, right? You get to first discover from hand and then discover from deck. Very good to get to also, that also means you get to see cards, not in your opponent's hand, and even in your opponent's deck, being able to see them is pretty significant too. You get to see 6 cards potentially that they have. So yeah, that's a lot of information. And potentially you can discover if they put a sunken card down there, you might be able to steal it as well. Yeah, it's just very, very good. And the information specifically in hand is also very, very significant as well. And some synergy with other cards. Next one we have here is the Light. It burns, a 1-mana holy spell. This is a common as well, so you're gonna see a lot of this, and it's deal damage to a minion equal to its attack. So it's a one card, 1 minion light bomb, basically. But yeah, I mean, you can use this a lot of times just like a shower death, basically. A cheaper shower death to just kill something. That's like, if they have a 6/6 or something, you just kill it. So just very, very good. I mean, in the worst case scenario, man, I mean, you could just use this pretty much always as like a Holy Smite or something, but you're probably gonna want to save it for something bit better. So yeah, just a very, very good card. And there's some Holy Synergy as well, potentially. So yeah, just very, very good. Next up, we have Clean the Scene. This is a 5-mana holy spell. Destroy all minions with 3 or less attack. Infuse 3 or 6 less. Or 6 or less. So even in its base spell, sometimes you're going to want to use this in its base version specifically, because you might have bigger things yourself and you might not want to kill them, and you might wish you could uninfuse it sometimes. But overall, I mean, it's like, this is just a 2-sided board clear that is very, very strong. Once you infuse it 3 times, 6 or less is most things, right? So you get to kill most things with this. And even potentially have giant minion on your own board and then use it as like a 1-sided board clear potentially. So a lot of potential there. So yeah, one of the better, I want to say it's probably one of the better 2-sided board clears that Priest has ever gotten. You get to just pick your point, you get to pick your spot with it, right? So it does mean, unlike some of the other ones, you can't just like top deck it in full clear board like you could with like Light Bomb or something, right? But overall, still very good cards that Priest likes to have. Moving on next to the Harvester of Envy. It's a 3-mana 4/3 legendary in Priest. After you play a card copied from the opponent, steal the original. So there are ways you can steal copy cards from your opponent's deck, or hand even, and then you can steal it. And I guess potentially even you could copy a card from your opponent's hand. They could play it, and then you could play it, and then you mind control it. It's actually insane. So yeah, The fact that you might not just, it might not be just like pulling out of their deck. They might have, or they might, you might have copied a card from their deck and then they draw it and you steal it out of their hand as well. So like potentially this is not just, potentially not just like an extra card draw effectively. It might even be minus a card for your opponent or even minus a card on board, as I said. So like, yeah, just very, very high potential. Obviously you need certain cards to combo this with to be able to use it, but usually you're going to have a couple of them. This is, yeah, going to be usually very good because you'll be able to do something with it. Next one we have here is Boon of the Ascended. 4 mana holy spell. Epic. Give a minion +2 health. Summon a Kyrian with its stats and taunt. So ideally, obviously, you would use this on your own minion. And you get like, even if you played this on a 3/3, right? You get a 3/5 taunt plus the health buff on your original minion. So like it's always gonna be very good. And even kind of like, you know, other cards that copy things, you can copy a death rattle to get another death rattle, or if you are desperate, kind of like you could do with Psyche Split or something, you can use it on your opponent's minion. If your opponent has a giant minion and you give him extra health, but you get a giant taunt as well, right? So it's always going to be helpful, even if you're completely off board. But obviously it's not going to be, it's going to be a lot better if you can stick it on your own minion and play it on your own minion. That would be the idea, but it's never going to be bad, so it's a good card. Next up we have the legendary here, which is Palagos. 3 mana 1/6. After you cast a spell on a friendly minion, set its attack and health to the higher of the two. So, I mean, you can even like, this works on itself even, right? You could even play this and then use the Light It Burns on itself. And then you get a 4 mana 6/6. Not amazing, but I mean, that's pretty good even. But yeah, like, I mean, there's just a lot of things. Yeah, this is like absolutely broken and constructed. This might get nerfed, frankly. So it's like bless, but you can bless your stuff. You can bless basically anything with holy smites and stuff. It's pretty crazy. But how much can you realistically do this? How much can you realistically do with this in Arena? Probably not that much. Like, you can make something like a lot of your buffs, you make them quite a bit better, but you're getting a 3 mana 1/6, so it's like, it's probably not, it's gonna have its moments, but it's probably not that crazy in Arena most of the time. But it's very good. Next one we have here is Cathedral of Atonement. Is this the last card? But this is the location card for Priest. 3 mana, 3 durability, location. Give a minion +2/+1 and draw a card. So just a hell of a lot of value out of one card. Priest has been lacking value lately. They've been lacking a draw engine. So this is exactly, and they have a lot of health buffs that don't tend to give attack. So this fills a lot of holes. Everything in this expansion for Priest, frankly, fills a lot of holes that Priest has had lately. This is an incredibly strong rotation for, or set for Priest here. But yeah, it's like, I mean, just the sheer amount of value you get out of this is absolutely insane. If you hit it on, if you do have a 2-drop and it survives and you get to play this immediately, you're getting already just an insane amount of value. That's like a practically worth 3 mana almost by itself. And then you just get 2 more charges that you get to use over the next 4 turns. That's pretty crazy. You can also combo it with the 4-drop, which we talked about earlier. It's just crazy, crazy strong. It's just worth saying that, you know, obviously if you don't have a board on turn 3, then it's 3 mana do nothing the turn you play it. So it is going to be, in that case, quite a bit slow. But it's going to be good almost always, regardless. And then the last card we have here is Suspicious Usher. It's a 1 mana 1/3 rare with the Suspicious theme. Battle Cry, discover a legendary minion. If your opponent guesses your choice, they get a copy. This is going to be a very weird one because, again, if you haven't seen the other ones, basically your opponent gets to choose. They get the 3 discover options that you do at the start of their turn. So if you play the legendary immediately, they know what it is and they always get it. So you kind of want to hold it most of the time, right? Because especially with the legendary minion, unlike the spells, sometimes the mage one is based on spells. You might not care if they get the spell because Flame Strike might be way better for you than them. But with this one, like, you probably don't want them getting the legendary that you're picking. So you get into a weird mind game where you might want the best one, but if you pick the best one and they also pick the best one, it's not good for you. So you probably aren't going to want to pick the best one. So you're going to have to just end up getting like maybe a mediocre legendary minion, because a lot of legendaries are based off of synergy and they're just not going to be good. So you're probably not going to get the best legendary most of the time out of this, but there's going to be times where you get the option of raid boss versus an echelon and they get a 50-50 to lose automatically. But yeah, an interesting one. Overall, probably not, definitely not a terrible card. It's a 1-mana 1/3 at the end of it, even if it's a symmetric effect, right? So it's definitely not bad. But that is it for Priest. So thanks a lot for hanging out, everyone, in Twitch chat and in YouTube as well. Like, subscribe, comment, all these things. We are going to move on to Rogue after this. So see you guys in the next one. Peace out.